All right. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us for the North Carolina Employer Relations Group virtual chat. I know there's a number of us that are at another meeting today, so glad we're recording this. We'll get it out later for everybody to be able to hear. Thanks also to everybody who's been putting questions on our doc, our shared Google Doc. And so, Beth, you had the first one, so I'm going to let you just kind of kick us off this week, and we'll start chatting.
Great. This is Beth at Elon. And I was curious if anyone has been in touch with government agencies about their hiring, for example, CIA, FBI, Secret Service. I'm wondering what you know, if you know anything, but also just sharing that I plan to invite the CIA and the FBI and the Secret Service to host virtual information sessions for our students, but I also recognize they might just be hosting them for everybody. So if anyone has any insight.
I have had back and forth with our CIA contact. His name's Brandon. He may be yours too, Brandon.
I met him through you.
Yeah. So he is interested in doing some things. He was going to catch up with me later on this summer and things. But yes, they are planning to do something as like the rest of you, we're doing everything virtually. So my hope is if he's going to do something virtually, that we can just sort of make it some dates and everybody will know about it. So I can push it out to this group just through the email and everybody participate in some of that. So, but yeah, I know the CIA is planning to do that. And right now, and this is sort of an offshoot of that, but NavAir from the Naval Aviation end that hires civilians to work, so you don't have to join the Navy to work for the Navy. Some similar to the Air Force. They have a big. They're doing some phone interviews in the next couple of weeks, and they just pushed that out to us Friday that we got. So I know they're planning on doing things. I haven't heard from FBI and Secret Service, but I know the CIA is planning on doing some stuff.
And for FBI, we had the Charlotte field office special agent, Dave Dawson. He came to Elon early September of last fall. So I have not touched base with him about their timeline or if they're even able to hire for the next summer internship program. But if I do get information, I'll share out with this group.
Very cool. Anybody else heard anything?
I don't know about internships, but I don't if others are participating in the Southern Alliance Career Fair. The U.S. Secret Service is one of the employers that is signed up to recruit at that fair. And I looked at their job postings. They do have some job postings out on their website. So they definitely are recruiting.
Okay, thanks. If anyone develops or learns anything new, please share with me and anyone else that might be interested.
Very good stuff. I had a question, but I'm going to go to Dave's thing real quick from Asheville because he's not able to be here today. But if you're a handshake school, he's interested in getting together with other handshake schools and doing a trial run of their virtual platform once it's released. He's going to set up a dummy event, register, see how it works. If you're interested in doing that, go to the doc and just put your name, where you're from, and your email address. Because I think Jane already did. But if you're a handshake school and you want to help test out the virtual platform, please do. So. And thanks, Beth, for putting the doc in there for everybody. So, yeah, so if you want to do that. My question is, do any of you have statements on your sites or in your postings directories or whatever that state something to the effect of just because you're posting the job, it's not a whole cloth endorsement of the organization? And I'll tell you where that stems from if you haven't heard the news. The Charlotte Hornets and the Panthers fired their events security staff group over the weekend because of some statements the CEO made that were rather controversial, and I'll just leave it at that. And so, you know, I don't know. I just wanted to put it out to the group. If any of you have encountered things like that, do you have stuff like that in place?
Jay, this is Sarah from NC State. We might have something in we call it EPAC in our Simplicity system. Can take a quick look and also check with Kelly Laraway from our team. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure.
What are y'all's thoughts on something like that? Is that something we need to get into? What do you think? I mean, there's a lot of gray area to that, but it's also part of the world we live in at this point too.
Yeah, Jay, this is Ian Gibbons. We don't have anything on our website, just kind of stating that, you know, we're not affiliated with any beliefs or views of any employer. for me, I'm almost inclined to not even get into that. You know, my job is to just create opportunities for students to connect with employers and make their own decisions on if it's the right opportunity for them. Not really I don't think it was ever assumed that, I'm aligned to any beliefs or Wake Tech is aligned with any of our employers. Right now, and this is just a knee-jerk reaction, but my thought is almost to not even bring attention to it and just continue to do what I'm doing, which is let the students and alumni know about opportunities and not make it into something which for me really isn't something right now. If that changes, I'll deal with it accordingly. But, I almost feel like not to make it a thing if it's not a thing that I've heard about or been approached about whatsoever. So that's my knee-jerk reaction.
Thank you, Ian.
I kind of feel the same way. I think that, it needs to be on the employer to say that that this is what they believe, not what we believe.
That's like Sarah pasted something in the chat for all of us to look at here. So
Yeah, and this is really more about job scams and fraudulent employers, but sort
Yeah.
of touches on, if you have any concerns about the legitimacy of an employer or posting, please report them. So, and I would think that this would fall under the umbrella of a student reporting that the organization made comments that aren't in line with their beliefs or whatever. And again, like Ian, I don't think we would get into that, but I think we would take that piece of information in and then process as needed should it become an issue.
And that's an excellent point. Like I say, it just got brought up through another group I was in earlier today, and I thought, you know what, I'll toss it out and just see if anybody's crossed that or had to deal with that anyway, and then it's something we can chat with. And for those of you who are requesting access to the doc, I'm surprised you weren't. I'm sorry you weren't on it before, so I'm adding you all in one big group at once here. So if I look like I'm looking off to the side, that's what I'm doing. I'm not playing Galaga, I promise. Not this time.
Jay, I don't think many of them would know what Galaga is.
I would say, I just went way. I don't know if you saw the first Avengers movie, you know what that is. So,
yeah, you more than dated yourself with that one.
I cannot hide how old I am anymore because I don't have the hair for it. So it is what it is at this point.
Unrelated, but we just got an update from our Elon senior leadership about our fall plan. Is that of interest to anybody?
Yes,
okay,
please,
here we go.
yes.
Here we go. Modified fall schedule. Our Elon classes will start Wednesday, August 19th, which is 6 days earlier than we planned. We will have a 1-day fall break on Wednesday, October 7th. The university will be closed on election day. And then in-person instruction will end prior to Thanksgiving with the last class day on Monday, November 23rd. And then Tuesday, November 24th serves as our reading day. Final exams will be conducted remotely, and they're adding an additional staff holiday on Thursday, December 31st. But normally Elon gives us the whole week of Christmas. So I'm just, okay. So we're getting another holiday. We don't normally get off.
I think it's because of fall break, right? We would have one fall break holiday, so now they've eliminated that. So I would assume
so they
that
put it.
They put it at the end of the year.
Yeah, so that's the Elon update.
Very cool.
Yeah,
UNC
same
Go
for
ahead.
UNCW, Beth. We're starting the same day, August 19th. Nothing changed at the beginning. We're still having Labor Day, but then we have no fall break. And I think our reading day is November 25th, and then all of the exams will be online first week of December. But they haven't said anything about our holiday, so I'm assuming none of that changed. And then they'd made no announcement when they released the academic calendar. It was just for fall, not for fall and spring.
Yes, they did not share anything about our spring, and I just put in the chat, if you didn't know this, Elon has never, to my knowledge, closed on Labor Day, which I just find kind of odd, but we'll be there.
As will we. The semester at UNC Charlotte starts September the 7th. That's still on. No fall break, and final exams will actually go through December the 23rd. We're starting much later. A lot of that has to do with, well, had to do with the RNC coming to town. Now, even though the full thing's not coming, I think some of it is still here. So the calendar, though, is not. They're not going to change it. They made an announcement last week that no, we're not shifting. So we know we're sometimes as much as 3 weeks behind the rest of the schools in the state. So, which is making accounting recruiting really interesting. I talked to a couple of professors this morning, but they're going to still be able to do their virtual meet the professional stuff in August and then start interviews that first week. And Holly and her infinite wisdom had decided, let's just start interviews the minute we start, officially the semester, Jay. So we're doing that and moving forward, but we'll have a later start and will appear to be running a lot later than a number of schools. So
This is Monique from Duke University. Hello, everyone. Did Sue give our update last week?
I did not, Monique. You can go right ahead.
No, it's okay. Thanks. It occurred to me that that I don't know if you had our update that we received on May 29th, but there will be another update later this month. So as of now, the fall semester classes will begin a week earlier on Monday, August the 17th. The final exams will conclude before Thanksgiving, and there will be no fall break. And then they've also already referenced some changes to the spring semester. So the spring semester will begin a week later than normal on Tuesday, January 19th, and final exams will be like the week of April 26th.
And no spring break, right, Monique?
Right, and no spring break. Yeah, thank you.
I should have mentioned commencement for us won't take place until January now as well. So you'll technically graduate in December, but the ceremony and such won't be till January.
Yeah, they didn't even say anything about commencement in ours. I know we're supposed to have spring commencement August 7th and 8th, but they didn't even have anything in that calendar about fall commencement for December. I mean, if everybody's leaving November 25th, I don't know really how they would bring them back for a commencement ceremony. We also still don't have a return date for staff, just FYI.
Yeah, we don't have that either. There's just a lot of rumors about when that will happen. They're telling us August-ish, but nothing set in stone yet. I think they're still working out some of those details. I know internally we have worked out with our groups rotation of how many people will be in the office at any one time and stuff like that. We're kind of working through what that will actually look like once we put it in place, but none of it's set in stone, and it won't be once we do it either, because there's 26 of us, and if you get the sniffles one day, okay, now what? So it's trying to get coverage is going to be fun. But we don't anticipate a ton of on-campus traffic.
Wait,
either.
I want to roll back. Y'all have 27 people in your office?
Just about. Yep.
Okay. Just yikes.
That was not a humble brag either. Like, it blew my mind that we had that many people too.
I'm really glad my face isn't showing right now, just so we're clear.
Is it a face of anger or a face of...
It's a mix. It's a mixed emotion. It's a mixed emotion.
Yeah, no, we have a good...
Shock.
We have a large staff, but we have 30,000 students too. So, and we reach a good number of them. So just kind of putting that out there.
Casey, to add fuel to the fire, at Elon, we have over 20 staff members with 6,000 students.
Okay, you could have left that out.
Yeah, sorry. I couldn't help it.
It's all right. It's fine.
Thanks, Ben.
But we have already been back. We've been back to work. I've mentioned this before, since Monday, May 11th, I think was the day that our office, I won't say it's open, but I will say it has been staffed since May 11th. And the expectation given to us in the main office, which is over half of our staff members, we are expected to be in 1 day a week through the end of June. And then that could increase for July. But right now, that's the plan.
What about NC State, Sarah? Have they all had any discussions about coming back? And
Yep, I was going to say, so we are sounds like we might be the earliest start. We have been pushed up a week to start Monday, August 10th. No Labor Day. We're normally closed on Labor Day, and no fall break. We will end classes on Friday, November 13th. We will end finals by Friday, November 20th. They will go home. They will not come back until after the day after Martin Luther King. Fall commencement has no date, no schedule. So we don't know if, when, or how that's going to go. I believe the main career development center is working on a rotational schedule, probably a la August. I sit in the electrical and computer engineering department with an engineer at the head who is very into the research and the data and the numbers. And so he's not letting anybody come anywhere. We are only in phase 1 of letting our research happen with really strict guidelines. Like you have to write a proposal, you have to sign in, you have to swear your life away to even be pretty much on campus. In fact, I have to clean out an office for a new faculty member from one of my direct reports, and I have to get permission. I have to give the date. I have to tell the time. I mean, it's a whole bit thing just to like take some files out of the drawer. So, you know, it's just going to be an interesting situation, and I would assume we're just going to move forward virtually. So that's our deal at NC State. So.
Excuse me 1 second. One question, Sarah.
Sure.
Do you know if you all will still have your engineering career fair?
Yes.
Virtual or in person?
Yeah, great question. Monique, the NC State Engineering Career Fair is going to take place as planned on the dates, September 15th and 16th, virtual. We're going to use the Career Fair Plus platform. We've used them as a career fair vendor for the last several years, and they've opened up an online platform and gave us a campus-wide deal that made a lot of sense for us. Since we share across, there's probably about 40 of us that do career services in some capacity all the way across campus. We share in that resource.
Hey, Sarah, the last update, when last meeting we had, I asked if it was going to be open to the rest of the universities. And at that point, the answer was no, you would have to have an ncstate.edu email account.
Okay.
Just want to make sure that's still true because I don't think Monique was on the last meeting.
Oh, okay. And that's definitely a Kelly Laraway question specific. She makes that relationship in that situation. So I will absolutely check with her and let you all know.
I think, Jay, wasn't it Kelly who was telling me that last time? Yeah, Beth says yes.
Yep.
And was that her final answer, or was she still working that out?
It sounded pretty final.
Okay.
But there was one caveat with students in the a dual degree program or something.
Biomedical engineering. Yeah. It's a shared program with us and UNC. And there's also several shared engineering programs with other colleges. That's an interesting conundrum.
Thank you for that.
So
speaking of,
I think Kelly said she was going to look into it because it was sort of left off with that was a good question to take back to them.
Okay.
Because she wasn't aware. That was sort of how I thought the conversation ended.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll check with her and get you an update for sure.
So I can tell you our fairs for the fall will all be in October. The part-time job fair will be the 1st, and then the career fairs will be the 8th and the 9th. We're kind of working out what the split of those will be and what we'll call them. But they're all virtual, and we're also inviting schools in the Charlotte metro region, which is the 15 counties, and it bleeds over to South Carolina, but too, if they want to, they can join in and be a part of that as well, and we'll handle the administrative stuff as long as they have their students register and try to do everything in one big swoop. We got some feedback from employers that would be popular for them, and we know too it'll just help out some of our partner schools, and it's something we can do because if everybody's going to go virtually, might as well just coordinate like we were talking about with the CIA, Beth, and stuff like that. So try to hit as many as we can because it'll be a better bang for everybody.
I got an email and a phone call today from Joshua Hirsch with e-career fairs, and I let him know that at this time our team was not pursuing a platform, but if you haven't heard from him, you might hear from him.
Yeah, I think we decided to go with Premier was the name of the platform that our group had vetted through and decided it gave us the most of, we could pay one license and use it for a lot of stuff. So we're going to use it for networking events and who knows what else we come up with. Whatever Holly comes up with, that's what I say. So we'll come up with some different things, but we decided that was our best option, even though they're a little newer. Our rep is actually in Greensboro too. So we have somebody that's somewhat local to be able to talk to. What about the rest of you? What's everybody using for your virtual event thing? Are you using Handshake or Simplicity's offerings?
We're still not sure. Brazen is still a contender for us, but we just got to figure out pricing. But Handshake is probably the front runner because it's free. It's not my front runner. I prefer to, but it may be the only option we have. We do also have the paid Zoom account. So I'm really going to need to see more from Handshake before I can put all my eggs in that basket. But we do have a part-time student services fair that we'll probably have to go virtual as well. That's the first day of classes. And we may test Handshake out using that if it's up and running, just to see how it works. And then we can manage the whole thing internally, because most of it will probably be more on the student services, like campus hiring side.
And Jennifer Schaefer said Appalachian is using Handshake and Zoom, which is great. And then April said WebEx. So it sounds like we're all using a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I listened to the Simplicity. They did a webinar for clients last week to tell us about their platform. So I listened to that. They can't really go any faster, but basically it's just the timing. You can only go but so fast, and so we won't really be using that platform for our main recruiting that has to do with like actual careers, but we are considering for graduate professional school recruiting, which would typically happen later in October, using that Simplicity virtual career fair platform for that, since just the timeline's a little further back, and so that makes us a little more comfortable with that. So
that was what happened with us too. It was just a matter of we need to get things, registration going and all that, and and it's not their fault. Again, they know they were going to need it that fast, so needed a Handshake. So it's like I said, 3 years ago, nobody thought we'd ever be doing any of this. So. So that's kind of the topics for the day. Beth, I want to give you a few minutes to just talk about the virtual OECR summit that's coming up and everything like that, and just tell folks a little bit more about, I know we were talking before we got started officially, but some of the things that's going to be happening, what's going on. I hate to put you on the spot like that, but if you can kind of do a little 4 to 5 minutes on that for us so we can all get excited about it, because I think it's going to be great.
I love the spotlight, so I appreciate that. I am going to drop the link in the chat. So if you would like to follow along, I'll kind of just go through the information that's available thus far. And as a reminder, it's $25 to participate, to attend if you are a member, and it's $50 for non-SOACE members. So on Wednesday, June 24th, we are going to have a brief conference welcome that will lead into our keynote, which is Dr. Karen Lindsay with Texas Christian University. She has a background in public relations and employer relations, and she seems great. And she was going to be our in-person keynote, and she was flexible with doing the virtual keynote. So we'll have an hour with her, and then we will have a breakout session from 11:30 to 12:30, and the 4 options are available. I thought I saw them on the website. I still need to click around a little since the website got updated over the weekend. But
they're there. If you click schedule, all the breakout activities are listed.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So there's 2 breakout sessions the first day, and we put an hour break in between them for people to kind of have a lunch hour, if you will. And we're going to try a 30-minute coffee chat, because I didn't want to totally eliminate any type of networking for the attendees. And so we'll see how it goes. But what to expect for that will be, if you register, you'll be asked closer to the virtual summit to kind of opt into a group for the coffee chat. I can't recall how our committee members have decided to categorize those groups. But for example, it might be I work at a small school under 5,000 students. It might be separated by that. More to come, but that 30 minutes would really be completely optional. But if you just want to chat with other people that are attending the summit and catch up with people or ask questions that you might have burning in your pocket, then that would be the platform for that. And then we are going to host virtual roundtables, which are always one of my favorite parts of all of the different conferences related to SOAS and even with NCAs. So we will, I believe, have 4 rotations, but we are offering close to 20 roundtables because we do want to cap those to 15 people, I believe is our number, because our thought was it's going to be hard to facilitate a virtual roundtable to begin with, but it might be a little easier and better for everyone involved if we cap it to under 20 people to kind of emulate more of what you would experience at the in-person roundtable. So we'll have those to end day 1. Day 2 is Thursday, June 25th. We are going to have 4 employers on a panel that includes representatives from State Farm, Fidelity, BNSF Railway, and our pal Wayne with Disney. And then the moderator is Matt Batista, who is on the planning committee, and he works in employer relations at the University of Tampa. And then we will have 2 more breakout sessions that day, breakout session 3, breakout session 4. And then we have added an hour for company/industry spotlights. I don't know the full details on this yet, but my understanding right now is that we will offer concurrent sessions within 30-minute time blocks with a few different employers. So there might be an employer that you're interested in that's speaking from 2:45 to 3:15. So you could jump in that room. And then there would be other options from 3:15 to 3:45. So giving more opportunities to hear from employers directly. And then we will have a brief closing. And so by 4 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday, June 25th, the summit will officially be over. And we do have a sponsor that kind of came out of, nowhere, but great. Career Shift is sponsoring. Some of you likely know Val. And more information is probably coming both to the website, but also to everyone that's already registered. So if you have registered, you can anticipate hearing from Corinne, who is our main contact through CMC Global. And the platform for this is kind of funky. It's using, I want to say Chromecast, but I just feel like that's not the right name of it. I've never seen this platform before, but it's something through member clicks. So SOAS decided to use this platform for the summit, and we did a test last week. And it looks pretty user-friendly, but if you are registered, it will be in your favor to log into the system before Wednesday, June 24th, to make sure that your profile is the way that you want it, kind of click around, learn the lay of the land. And so we've asked Corinne to share that messaging with all attendees, since there, of course, are a few things that you have to do. And if you wait until Wednesday morning, then you'll miss, it'll cut into the keynote, things like that. So little tiny logistical things we're still working through, but you can expect to be on the summit with a lot of other people. We have almost 300 attendees registered.
Wow.
Yeah, and more every day. So I think last week we were at 247. So we are expecting 300. Yeah, it's a big,
Very cool.
big group. And if you haven't been on these calls, or if you've forgotten this component, we've extended the invitation outside of SOAS's region. So we have a presenter, for example, from Princeton University in New Jersey. We have a presenter from a school in Ohio. And that was really to offer this opportunity to a wider audience, since it has to be virtual. And then the plan for next summer, 2021, when I will be chairing the summit, is for the summit to be in Fort Worth in person, which is where it was supposed to be this month. So that's kind of the at a glance. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me directly. If I don't know the answer, I will find the answer. But it should be as good as it can be for being virtual. I feel confident that the content will be strong, and there are a lot of different options between the roundtable topics and the 4 different breakout sessions. For each breakout session, there are 4 presentations to choose from, and we tried really hard, which if you've ever helped plan a conference, the breakout sessions can always be a lot to manage. But of course, trying to pair breakout sessions together that would be of interest to different types of people so that people can go to the ones they want each time. So just, of course, looking at those in advance, deciding, kind of map out your day like you would if this was in person. I think that'll make for a smoother conference for everybody. Any questions?
That's really good, Beth. Thanks for laying that all out and for putting that together too. I think that yeoman's work to put it together to begin with, and then to now turn it into a virtual thing is another bit too. But y'all have done great work with it. So,
and I think expectation-wise, at first when we were told we had to transition to virtual, I was thinking, oh, this won't be anything, of course, like the real experience. But I do think the content will be relevant, and we've selected presenters that want to talk about what's the fall going to look like, what are our virtual fairs going to be. All the conversations that we're having bi-weekly through this group are extending into the summit, which I think we can all benefit from more of those conversations and just having a wider reach. We're going to kind of take this conversation and blast it across the United States because we have attendees from all over the country.
that's fabulous. Fantastic. All right, gang, we're almost at the end of our time. So anybody got anything else we want to talk about today, or do you want to bring up for the group?
And Beth, that link will be sent out to us prior to so that we can go and play around.
So I think attendees will receive multiple communications, but one of the communications should be asking you to kind of pre-register for potentially breakout sessions, but definitely for the roundtable conversations, and also maybe the employer spotlights on the end of day 2 so that we can make sure, A, that everyone can fit in the virtual room for one, but also to make sure that you kind of are thinking about which sessions are you going to attend, because we want to make it as easy as possible. But Corinne, who is our contact through SOACE, she will be sending all of the details to the attendees over the next few weeks. I think we're just waiting till we get a little closer and it's a little more real for people to start thinking about, okay, I need to map this out.
Great, thank you. There was something that we were looking at for smaller events, and I've never heard anybody, while I've been in this conversation, bring it up, and it is called Hop-In, and it's $99 a month for unlimited events within that month. And it's one of the platforms that we were looking at to choose for our networking events, our smaller networking events. There were 2 of them that we had chosen that we're going to really look at hard, but that Hop-In was maybe something y'all might want to look at. Or I think it's called Hop-In, not Hopped-In. So, you know, just another platform for everybody to look at after we've already done some research with it.
Hey, Holly, this is Sue. I was just on a conference about a month or so ago that used Hop-In, and it went really well. The only feedback I've heard since is because they became so popular after the first couple of conferences they did that it's a little harder to hear from them. But as a person who was attending the conference, I thought it was great.
Yeah, it just, everything looked very user-friendly. It was supposed to have nice backdrops. It was, you know, just a whole lot easier to use than a lot of the platforms out there. Plus, the presentation that they ended up giving you was nice. So, just something for everybody to consider.
Yeah, I was at that same conference with Sue. I'll second that. It was user-friendly. The networking component where you could go into a room and network with random people was really great. So you could just kind of, almost like when you would walk around a room and meet somebody, was really nice. So.
And I just had a question, being new to higher ed and I have never attended the SOACE conference. Are employers or schools coming from across the nation just because it's virtual? Is it usually only Southern? Okay, so it's kind of a new thing.
Yeah, the SOACE region, I believe we have 13 states, 11 or 13, I can never remember. But normally we would not open the invite because of the other regions similar to SOAS are doing their own conferences, but because it's virtual, the SOAS board actually gave the idea of why not extend the invitation to employer relations folks from outside the region, because they might not have the programming that they would have had in place. And like, what do we have to lose? Nothing. So
Good to know. Thank you.
So SOAS is, I think, stretches from Virginia to Texas, Oklahoma, southeast, southwest schools.
Oklahoma,
We
mhm.
combined. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I thought that was how far we went. So, lot of mileage. So, very good. Well, thank you again, everybody, for being a part of this again. We'll do it again in a couple of weeks. Please put more topics on the doc as you come up with them, and I'm sure we'll have more updates to go. And for everybody that watched the video, thanks again for doing so. And thanks again to Casey and Emily for hosting and helping us use the Zoom as it's been the best platform we've had to do this with. So everyone stay safe, stay frosty, be well. We'll talk again soon.